Welcome to the KontinuumLAB. First of all, there's a good reason why I'm wearing a slightly more bearded and perhaps scruffy look than normal. I usually try to trim a little around the face area to look civilized for the camera, but today the whole lower half of my face is healing. I have cuts and bruises under my mustache, under my beard right here, all the way up from my nose down to my throat, and so I decided that it would be better to just leave everything the way it is until I'm fully recovered. Anyway, more on that in a little bit. This video is mostly about the open horn MIDI system. I have a brand new design for the keys, again, that I can't wait to share with you. And then I also want to update you on why I haven't been playing this current prototype in the last few videos. But the video is also about me, because I'm the one designing and building the open horn. Everything that happens to me also happens to the horn. So when I get hurt or sick or depressed or divorced or laid off from my job, or I have to travel, or I have to move, then obviously that affects this project. The latest Control Freak video actually took over a week to make instead of the normal 1 or 2 days. There was just too much other stuff going on. Some of it good, some of it bad, all of it really important. There's really just too much going on to fit into this one video, but what I can try to do is just quickly outline the main thing that's been messing with me while I prepare the new keys to show to you. I finally managed to reach a decent settlement with my ex-employer after they had laid me off under questionable legal circumstances. This ended a month-long, very stressful process and left me with a small sum of money, which will hopefully be enough to tie me over until I can put together a new source of income. If I'm being honest, then really it was a dead-end job anyway, working for a faceless international company with no real appreciation for my talents and my worth and the effort I put in. So good riddance, I guess. Anyway, back to the ohms. The keys for the open horn have gone through so many iterations that I just can't keep track of them anymore. The one that I'm about to show you now is the result of 2 different factors playing off each other. First of all, there's the key making process that I described in my video, The Machine. I finally got around to properly testing it, and it turns out that it more or less works, but the result is not exactly perfect. At the same time, the current open horn prototype started giving me problems. I traced the instability in the keys to the epoxy putty which covers the sensors. Some porosity and imperfect seals between the epoxy and the 3D printed parts allowed a direct bridge between finger and sensor, leading to unstable and erratic readings. I decided that I was going to sand all of the keys down and then apply some epoxy resin on top to try to reseal them. But before I had time to actually do that, I then had to go out of town for several days to play in the Leon Jazz Festival with the Ramon Diaz group. So once again, work in the lab was put on the sideline to make time for everything else. Wow, it just started raining like crazy outside. This trip was really great and actually helped me disconnect somewhat from all the stuff that was going on. Leon is quite beautiful, with impressive historic architecture, really friendly people, and a killer jazz audience. In the evening we arrived where we were playing, and there was a line outside which stretched around the building. The concert went great. It's always fun to play music and hang out with good friends. So thank you, Yeray, Curro, Ramon, let's do it again soon. So as soon as I got back home, I immediately started the repairs on the open horn, and the plan worked. The current prototype is now once again fully functional. But the process of working with the epoxy resin for this kind of repair, or indeed for the new keys, turns out to just be such a huge pain in the butt and not quite give the results that I was hoping for. So the end result is that I'm not at all convinced that this is a good solution. So I was stuck on this problem of the keys for a few days, and maybe I wasn't concentrating on it fully. I was just preoccupied with everything. But then the resolution arrived suddenly and unexpectedly. The other day I went out on my bike in the morning, as I do most days, and on the way back my rear wheel got caught on a root and I crashed and fell really hard right on my face, somehow miraculously not breaking any bones or teeth. So once I'd made it home and cleaned up a bit, I sat down at my desk and I designed and fabricated a new set of keys in about half an hour. It just came to me, fully formed. The lower half of my face, my neck still hurt, but if that's what it takes to shake loose a really good idea, then maybe it's worth it, because this idea is excellent. I've probed this kind of design for the keys in the past, but I've never been convinced by it like I am now with this iteration. It's much easier to manufacture and much less prone to the kind of problem I was having with the current prototype, and just generally better in all kinds of ways. Come in closer and I'll show you what it looks like and how I make it. This plastic is PETG. It's the same food grade stuff that I use in the mouthpiece of the open horn, and now I'm going to also use it to make the outer shell of these new keys. These are the simple tools that I'm going to use to shape it. Rather than heat up the sheet of plastic as you normally do, I prefer to heat up the tools. Then, with moderate pressure, the heat from the metal tool slowly softens the plastic, drawing out the final shape. Once it's deep enough, I allow everything to cool for a bit. And then I remove the tool and inspect the newly shaped key. This one turned out perfectly. The edges are super easy to trim off with a pair of scissors. This size is a perfect fit for the holes in the open horn. I use a flathead thumbtack as a contact in these larger keys. So you get the point. Each key now has a rigid outer shell, and the contact inside is made from cheap and easy to work with materials. The final assembly will be done by soldering a cable onto the contact and then filling up the void behind it with epoxy putty, which will solidify the whole key structure, and then it can be inserted into its final position on the open horn. But that will be for another video, together with a whole bunch of other interesting news from the lab. So take care until next time, and I'll see you in the Continuum.